Sometimes the loudest silence is the one that shapes your destiny. There are moments when heaven says nothing, when your prayers echo back like whispers in a cave. You wait, you work, you weep, and still, nothing changes. But what if silence isn't God ignoring you? What if it's Him preparing the world for your arrival? This is Kojo's story, a story of broken dreams, sacred delays, and a destiny born from drought. Before we proceed to this amazing story, kindly subscribe and give me a like. Thank you. In the quiet village of Amanfram, where the red earth stained your feet and hope was measured in handfuls of grain, there lived a young man named Kojo. Every dawn before the mist lifted from the farmlands, you could find him kneeling under an ancient mango tree, a tree older than memory, older than his dreams. His prayer was always the same. "Lord," he whispered, "I don't want riches or fame. Just make me useful. Make me a farmer whose harvest feeds many mouths. Let my life be a testimony." The wind often answered, rustling the leaves as if heaven nodded. And Kojo would rise, smile, and walk to his small plot of land, believing, always believing, that this season would be the one. He cleared acres of stubborn soil. He sowed maize, yam, cassava, with faith as his fertilizer. He fasted, he prayed. He dreamed of a golden harvest waving beneath the sun, but the rains delayed. The ground cracked. And when the harvest came, it was thin, brittle, disappointing. Still, he prayed again, and again, until his voice grew hoarse with hope. Every year seemed hungrier than the last. Children grew lean, laughter faded from the farms, and Kojo's fields, once alive with promise, now looked like old scars on the land. His neighbors began to whisper, "Maybe God has better things to do," one said. Or maybe the boy prays too much and thinks too little, another laughed. Even his own mother, worn from worry, sighed one evening as they sat beside their dying fire. "Kojo," she said softly, "maybe farming isn't your destiny. Go to the city. Find something else. You've done your best." Kojo looked at her, eyes tired but still burning. "Mama, I feel something. Something that tells me not to leave. If I go, it will be like leaving my soul behind." But nights grew longer. The stars stopped looking like promises and started feeling like reminders of what he'd lost. His prayers began to change. "Why, Lord?" he cried one night. "Why give me a dream just to starve it? Why give me faith if you won't speak?" That night, even the crickets went quiet, as if heaven was listening or waiting. It happened one morning after his final harvest failed. Pests had devoured his last maize. The land looked like a battlefield. Only the defeated remained. Kojo dropped his hoe, fell to his knees, and screamed toward the sky. "I'm done, Lord, you win." "Maybe you never spoke at all." "Maybe I was just talking to myself." His voice echoed across the fields. Then silence, only the soft sigh of the wind through the mango tree. That silence broke something in him. He packed a small bag, a hoe, a Bible, and his late father's hat, and walked away from Amanfram. The road to the city was long and dusty. Every step felt like leaving a piece of his soul behind. The city didn't welcome him with open arms. It swallowed him whole. He worked where he could, cleaning gutters, carrying loads at the market, sleeping behind stalls. He prayed less. He laughed less. And his dream of being the greatest farmer in his village became a story he no longer told, even to himself. One rainy afternoon, while unloading sacks of grain, he met an old man with a quiet dignity and silver hair. The man watched Kojo for a while, then said, "Young man, you have strong hands. But your eyes, they look like a seed that refuses to grow." Kojo chuckled bitterly. "Because the soil I planted in killed me before I could." The man smiled, not with pity but with understanding. Maybe it wasn't the soil that was wrong. Maybe the season was. His name was Mr. Ofori, a retired agricultural officer. Those words, "maybe the season was wrong," echoed in Kojo's heart long after the man left. They clung to him like a spark in the ashes. The hidden classroom weeks later, Mr. Ofori found Kojo again. "Come with me," he said. "I'm working on a small government project, training young farmers. You have the hands for the field. Maybe it's time you learned the science behind it." Kojo hesitated. He didn't believe in miracles anymore, but something, maybe stubborn hope, maybe grace, made him say yes. And so Kojo began to learn. He studied irrigation. He learned about soil fertility, crop rotation, and pest control. He learned that the problem was never faith, it was knowledge. He realized that even faith needs wisdom to grow. As he learned, something inside him healed. God was teaching him, but not through miracles, through methods. 3 years later, when Kojo returned to Amanfrom, he was no longer a broken dreamer. He was a man reborn, part scientist, part servant, part believer. He walked to the same old mango tree where he once prayed for rain. This time, he smiled. He built an irrigation system that watered the fields even when the rains delayed. He taught other farmers how to test soil, how to preserve nutrients, how to market their produce. Within 2 seasons, Amanfrom transformed. Where there had once been dust, there were now green fields dancing in the wind. Children laughed again, women sang as they harvested, and travelers came from other villages to ask, "Who did this?" Kojo only smiled. It wasn't me, it was God. Just on his own schedule. One golden afternoon, Mr. Ofori visited Amanfrom. The old man stood in awe, watching farmers work in harmony, using the very techniques Kojo had once learned from him. He turned to Kojo and said, "Do you know why I chose you that day at the market?" Kojo shook his head. "Because that morning I prayed. I asked God to send me someone who truly understood struggle. Someone who wouldn't just teach farming, but faith." "You were that answer." Kojo froze. His heart pounded. Tears filled his eyes as realization hit him. All along he thought heaven had been silent, but God had been speaking. Through detours, delays, and divine timing, he fell to his knees under the mango tree once again. "Now I understand, Lord," he whispered, voice trembling. When heaven seems silent, it's not absence, it's alignment. Years later, Kojo's story became a parable told across villages. People spoke of the farmer who failed until God taught him to grow differently, and whenever young dreamers came to him, frustrated by delay, Kojo would smile and say, "God's silence is not rejection, it's redirection. When he delays, he's not denying you. He's preparing you." Every seed has its season, and every calling its time. Then he'd open his Bible to Ecclesiastes 3:11. He has made everything beautiful in its time. He'd close it gently, look up at the sky and whisper, and sometimes, the most beautiful answers are born from silence. Kojo's story reminds us that faith isn't proven in answered prayers. It's proven in the waiting, in the silence, in the moments when you choose to believe even when nothing moves. Because when heaven is quiet, it doesn't mean God is gone. It means he's working, just quietly enough for faith to grow.